live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
We just, what did we just do? It was 8 hours long.
It was,
we saw...
This is the day after the day that we started watching it.
Was it Gandhi? Felt like Gandhi.
It was...
Because it was like, there was no intermission though. There should have been.
No, it felt like we were being taught how to tie Gandhi's thing, you know? What was it called? Grindelwald and Duden.
Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes.
The second installment of the Fantastic Beasts series in a J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World, featuring the adventures of magic zoologist Newt Scamander.
Man, you know, here's the really ironic thing about this is I was just listening to a podcast, and they were talking about the density of some of the West Wing episodes, and they were talking to a guy that was one of the writers, and he was talking about how dense, you know, he had a tendency to get really dense, and then it was up to the other writers in the room to then back it off and pick like one or two things to then be dense about. This
didn't really have a plot though, did it?
Was incredibly dense.
Did this have a plot? I was like lost.
I don't know. You would have to ask a nerd.
I was like, it was meandering, and I'm like, what is this about?
Jeez, it just...
and then there was like 12 endings.
12, and it just threw everything at you, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, I swear to God, this happened. I was sitting there thinking to myself, well, at least they don't have a phoenix. I swear I was thinking that just as the phoenix came up.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, is nothing sacred? It just, and it was dark, and dark
as in like you couldn't see anything, or dark as in
as you couldn't see anything.
Like the opening, I couldn't see anything.
I swear the opening, the thing with the
carriage,
the stage carriage and stuff. I swear I wanted to walk out. I was checking to see if there were times across town that we could go see the Girl in the Spider's Lair, right? I mean, I literally, honestly did that. So that's why.
I thought you were kidding.
No, that's why I stood up. Remember, I stood up
that's
because
hilarious.
That sequence was so boring and so optical.
Yes,
you know.
I found it hard to watch. I was like, I don't know what's happening right now, and it's really, there's flashing lights, and it's really dark.
This was continuous through the film. Is things were done to the extreme extent of what they could do optically, but not at all original. You know, I mean, there wasn't an original thought in the whole freaking thing. I mean, all the fire was orange unless it was blue, and when it was blue, it was only blue. I mean, you know, that's just one thing. You know, it just was one thing after the other.
Well, so I saw I hadn't seen the first one.
Oh, okay, yeah, you just saw it.
That came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Right, and it was.
And I watched the other night. I just said, it's $2. I'll rent it. What the heck?
Right.
So I watched it, and the first part of it, I felt like it was like they're throwing all those like a trick every 5 seconds, or
right,
some
exactly,
crazy little
right.
trick.
Yeah, they did.
Here's a little trick here, and then the second half I really liked.
But
it had a plot, and it moved, and this one just and
it looked good, didn't it?
Yeah,
it was crisp. It was,
and I like the buddy thing that was going on with those two. Him and his little buddy. It's like Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
Exactly. There was character between the two of them.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
And I could follow the plot.
Yeah.
This one, and there was a lot of
no idea what was going on. There was talking.
There was
going
just a lot of
on.
time between everything, and every scene opened up the same way. Did you notice that every scene kind of went? And then people started talking.
Yeah, and then they start talking, and it would go on and on and on. And somebody's brother is somebody's sister, is somebody's mother, is screwing somebody's father, and
Well, it's the same director. That's what blows my mind.
Yeah, because
David Yates actually directed both of these.
Really?
Yeah. And this is no Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I have to like say one thing.
Uh-huh.
I got to give Zoe Kravitz a round of applause because
Yeah.
she kept me interested. There was some action toward the end.
Yeah.
And they showed her.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care about the action. Just show her. Just pan up and down.
You know,
That'll be fun.
I really, really like the dark hair girl. What's her name?
Oh, Tina, played by Catherine Waterston.
I have a question for you. It wasn't the same DP?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so because man, this DP was just. I mean, yeah, I'm surprised that after doing this, he just didn't go drown himself because he was depressed.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, it was just horrendous. But at least it was very, very long. I kept thinking to myself, you know what? Christmas is coming up, and I got to wrap gifts. And
I thought I missed it when it was over. The guy was cleaning up, and I said, "Hey,
did I miss Christmas?"
So this was production design, and this one was Stuart Craig, and the last one was Stuart Craig and James Hambidge.
Okay.
So it looks like the associate production designer. James
designer.
Hambidge might have helped a lot in the first one.
Okay. You know, there were a couple of times, and obviously for the longest time, they had this kind of black and white thing going, where the character of the scene was small and white. I give you a perfect example of this. I'm just talking about things in direct regard to production design. Because everybody in this was really competent. Don't get me wrong. It just was poorly written and sloppily directed.
Like I said, there wasn't really a plot.
Yeah.
I mean, there was kind of a plot.
But I mean, the rest of the crew seemed to be doing their jobs well. Mm-hmm. The production design was... There were tricks that they used that I really appreciated. Like, for instance, the white suitcase.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning of the white suitcase that the redhead is walking around with, and when there was a scene that we had 100 umbrellas go up, right?
Yeah.
And the camera's looking at all these umbrellas, and then you see her because she has a white suitcase,
right?
And that was a good example of what the production designer and props and they have to make a note to do that because we know the scene's coming up and we're going to lose her otherwise. I mean, just this is just from the point of view of the workaday, the things that you have to do to survive in general,
right?
There was a couple of like design choices that I really kind of liked a little bit. I love the hearse with the horses. That was amazing. It was different looking. But overall, it's like, for instance, we go to the to France at one point, and we're in a circus, right? And the circus looks like the typical 30s circus, right?
Yeah,
Why does it always have to be the typical 30s circus? I was just kind of like...
This was supposed to be 1927, I think?
Yeah, right. But it was just boring. It was just, like, wow.
And what about the shot where they were on the roof and there's the Eiffel Tower right behind them?
Right, yeah. It's like, oh, come on, give me a break. Give me a break. Give me a break. Yeah, and I was going to say that the thing that they were all trying to at the end... Why didn't it faster? I wanted to, I really wanted to go pee for one thing.
There's the credits were amazing because I tried to stick through the credits all the time. This one I left when all the people that did the digital effects.
Yeah, I thought that it was pretty wild for you to actually leave early.
Well, one thing that surprised me was Johnny Depp had like 3 assistants and like he also had a staff. Like, so he had 3 assistants and then he had a staff to Johnny Depp. It was like 5 people. It was like 8 people. Like, anyway.
And this is what I've been noticing is these big films are enormous
I'm
now.
scrolling through the credits right now.
I mean, blowing my mind. You're looking at a crew. I have to say, back in the day, we just didn't have that big of a crew, even on a pretty big film.
But did you ever have a big star that had like 12 people?
No.
That's what kind of
it's
surprised me.
You know, when that started to happen was for instance, Blade.
Yeah.
Working with
we got to do that one too, by the way.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah.
Oh,
we got to do a mixed Strawn film in December.
We're working on Blade, and who was the actor in Blade?
Wesley
Snipes. Yeah, Wesley Snipes.
My buddy.
He had a pretty big retinue, with him. But at the same time, it was expected at that point.
Right.
I mean, it was just, it was annoying. I mean, it was really annoying. Who's the DP? Director of Photography. That's what I'm telling you. It's not the same DP.
Philippe Rousselat in the one from 2016.
Right.
And in this one, who was it? It was up here. Philippe, same guy.
It was the same guy,
Which
really.
I thought the cinematography was good. Didn't you think so?
I thought it was terrible. I mean, but I'm just saying from the point of...
You have a lot of optics that are ruining everything, I think. I mean... Yeah, pretty shots.
It was just dreary. It was just horribly dreary. I mean, I didn't feel... I just hung out today with my son's youngest.
Yeah.
And so she wanted to watch a movie. So we wound up, watching The Grinch Stole Christmas, the one with... Carrey.
Oh, okay.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And it had that same dreary look to it. I mean, there was no crisp color anywhere, and I guess that they're trying to make a point. That all life is horrible.
Right.
and that was had the same effect. They were doing a very black and white kind of feel.
Well, it's like any Harry Potter movies, kind of like that. I mean, I've seen almost all the Harry Potter movies. I think I haven't seen the last one.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the last three.
But yeah, they all have the same look and the same feel. But I like those a lot more, though. I gotta say it.
Oh,
I really
you
like
did.
the Harry Potter's movies more.
Oh,
yeah,
more than this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was hard to get through, and I understand that it was a middle film, that it was trying to set things.
This should be like 4 movies.
But the problem is I don't know what it was setting it up for.
I don't know.
Who's that funky guy with the white hair?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I don't know the character. I forgot the character's name. It's the name of the movie. It's Grindelwald.
He was really boring, and he it seems like he borrowed somebody else's eye.
Katie Lang a little bit. Or who else was I thinking of when I saw him?
If Katie Lang had borrowed somebody else's eye,
kind of an androgynous figure, don't you think?
Yeah.
Wearing all white too, and which is like, it's like the reverse, isn't it? White supposed to be good? I guess white. I guess white is dark is bad.
But he's trying to create a false whiteness, And
then there's the other guy. I don't know what you just said, but I'm like, okay, yeah.
Well, okay.
Oh, and then there's
a false white hatness.
Dr. Ruth was in there too, the little short.
Oh yeah. She was.
That's all I could think about was Dr. Ruth.
Is that it? Give me the baby. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, the actors are good. I got to give them credit because with what they had, they did a good job.
Yeah, they moved around a lot.
The story kind of sucked, I thought. The plot was lame. But I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
That was like excruciatingly long, though.
It was
And I think it was the same length as the other one, the first one.
Was it?
Yeah, they're both 2 hours and 15 minutes long, I think.
Oh, I think halfway through it, I killed myself. I mean, this is actually resurrected me.
Oh, the other one was 2 minutes shorter. That's probably why. But
yeah,
I got bored in the other one a little bit for the first part of the movie, but I got into it after halfway through.
Yeah.
This one, I was into it for the first. Well, I didn't like the opening scene, but I got into it a little bit, and then I got.
I have to say that I was trying to think as we were walking out of there if I've ever been involved in even a 2-hour film, and I don't think I have.
How long was Grey Knight?
I have. Well, I just seemed like 2 hours. That's all. But I was thinking that this is something that I have definitely noticed. We have been doing a lot of classic horror films, right?
Yeah.
We've been doing them lately, and I have noticed.
We have a Invisible Man coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I have noticed that an awful lot of them come in. They clock in like at 110 minutes.
109, 110.
Yeah, 110, something like that. And I have to tell you, for me and my my particular kind of what would you call it? My ADD mind.
Right. We have a similar problem in that area.
We do.
Yeah.
That 109 minutes, 110 minutes feels golden.
Yeah.
I mean, golden.
Well, especially I started off this one tired. And so halfway
so
through,
it just
I'm like,
didn't get any better.
How can I stay awake? I'll eat my ice.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there was a thing that I used to do when I would kind of kick people off the set because the way that it works is that I will get to see a set with all the walls attached, you know, complete untouched, in continuity, just exactly where I want everything. And when I walk away, it's going to be like that, except for there's going to be 60 people that are going to swap over it. And so the first thing that goes is a couple of walls. I mean, and usually they're going to pick, even for the wide shot, they're going to pull one wall in order to do, and as they work around that set, you know, that wall will come in or out, and another wall will come out. So the last person to see it all together is usually me, and I would come in and I would use my lack of an ability to focus on things,
right.
that you know, kind of instantly judging thing that I do so well.
Right.
And I would say, does this bore me? You know, and just, I mean, not for any particular reason. I wouldn't be looking for a reason one way or the other. I just walk in and go, you know, does this bore me? And if it does, then I would look for a reason, and we would just sit there and rework it. And everybody really totally hated that.
So it's got to be visually interesting to be able to.
It has to be interesting.
Yeah.
It has and you know.
Like, that's why I love Fellini movies, even though you probably wouldn't like them because they're too long. But I like
they are a little bit long.
Fellini
Yeah,
movies
I know.
are very pretty the way that they're done.
You know, it's great. When you just said Fellini right now, you know what happened? In my head, I saw a beach ball drifting down an Italian the Italian seashore, right? You know, with the clouds moving in and the ding all by itself.
Actually, he did a really short movie, I think. The Clowns. That was a short one. Anyway. But no, French cinema and Italian cinema.
Yeah,
they have that down.
Yeah,
making it look pretty and interesting.
Buñuel's.
They don't even have to talk.
Buñuel's little tiny cars and things like that. Yeah. So yeah, I would actually work with my my impatience, and then if I was impatient, if I didn't like it, then I would start to like throw reasons at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, well, what is it? Is it like not three-dimensional? Is it does it not go with the blocking in my, you know, because there was just something. I have to trust myself when I first take an instinct on things, you know, that there's something deep in there that just isn't right, you know.
What do you think about the costume design in this? It was kind of I mean, you're a period piece, kind of, but
yeah,
I thought it was kind of boring.
I thought it was pretty boring, and
it was no really interesting.
Well, except for Zoe. I mean, she had a nice dress there.
But anyway,
yeah, no,
I don't know what happened there.
No, it wasn't. It just wasn't interesting.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There was no interesting outfits,
right?
Except for Zoe's.
Yeah, that was the only one.
You know, it's funny how things that had some color to them really kind of stood out, like the two redheads in the film. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
You could mark them anywhere, that anytime that they were in a scene somewhere. It's like,
there were a lot of brunettes. Yeah, there were. I noticed that. I was for some reason thinking about hair color when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
there's
not
one thing
many
that's missing too in this one.
Not many blondes.
When the last movie, the Where to Find the Beast or whatever.
Yeah.
Fantastic Where to Find Them.
Yeah.
They had a lot of
Fantastic
scenes where they were fixing stuff and erasing people's memories, like on a mass scale.
Yeah, right, yeah.
This one, things were happening in the street, but they kind of...
I
was
yeah.
confused by that. Like, so all these people, muggles are not, what do they call them, no-mages?
Well, the way that they got around it this time, and it...
They didn't have time.
But it wasn't a device that they used the first time, but the device of going into a different part of London or a different part of France, right? This different part of Paris, was kind of the way of negating all of that. We have to worry about going through the streets and stuff. They were just going into an alternative Paris,
right?
So I obviously they decided that this wasn't the big thing. This wasn't the animal that they were cooking,
right?
in this particular film, right? That's one thing about science fiction. I mean, for instance, if Star Trek, if you have a Star Trek that you don't want to follow the lines of the previous 1400 films,
right?
Then what do? It's a different timeline.
Yeah, you go before. Well, this is before. It's like the Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
doing, going back in time.
That's right, back in time. You know, and so now tell me, in Star Wars,
the young.
Do you have any idea? After a while, I completely lost as to what's before what and after what, and I
think I figured it out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I have it down, but who knows? They might screw with my head again and do something weird. But no, this is, weird. The young Dumbledore, and, that's interesting to see that.
I kind of like seeing young Dumbledore,
I'd like to see Snape, though. That'd be kind of an interesting character to see. A younger version of Snape. Severus, I think it's Severus Snape. I don't care his name.
Yeah.
Did you read any of the Harry Potter books?
I read...
So I would say that's a pretty easy read, and they're pretty interesting, I think.
Maybe about...
I think I read the first 3.
How many were there? There were 9, right?
Yeah.
I think there were 9. I think maybe I read 5 of them.
I read the first 3.
I mean, as they got darker and darker, I didn't care anymore.
I just remember the first one I read in one day. I just kind of went...
Yeah.
And my parents gave me that book, which is weird.
Really?
I was in college. I think I was in college when that came out. I remember. I can't remember how old I was. What year was that? That was
I know
2000 probably.
I was working on films, remember. Yeah.
Oh no, late 90s I think.
Yeah, late 90s. Yeah.
So I wasn't in college. I was out of college by then. Blah blah blah. So I would rate this a little bit lower than average.
Yeah.
2.2. Out of 5. I mean.
Yeah,
I lost a lot of points because it could have been an hour.
Yeah,
probably been more interested.
You know me, the more editing, the better.
We should be blaming the editor, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. There was a lot of exposition in here.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of exposition. There's nothing that I hate more than something that's fantastic. Or science fiction-y, that has to explain to you things that everybody knows. Mm-hmm. Everybody would know in that world anyway.
Right.
To a character that, doesn't
the crowd
know
that
it.
was watching us with us were definitely in the know.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. In fact, as I was standing outside of the theater, there was a couple of people that were walking out with me that were just arguing over some incredibly minute point.
Were they carrying their wands?
Yeah. I dig wands for some reason. I would love to sit and make some wands.
Yeah.
You
can have your own little. Everybody has their own special wand.
Yeah,
some have curves, some are a little longer, some are bigger. Anyway, I'm gonna re-edit this movie. I'm gonna buy this DVD.
Some are 13 inches long and as big around as a Coke can.
I'm gonna do a re-edit of this movie. I'm gonna buy the DVD
and I'm just gonna take all the shots of Zoe out and put them all together.
Yeah. And call it a re-edit, right? I would go with a probably 2.4, I think, at the most. I mean, that's I'm trying. I didn't absolutely hate it. I just didn't feel like either way about it.
Well, I
but
think for me,
did think it was really long.
I'd probably be about 2.5, but then like the fact that I had a boredom factor watching it,
Yeah, no, that's
I
true.
lost a few points, a few tenths of a point.
Wake me up.
Yeah.
Wake me up when this thing is done.
Right.
I have to buy Christmas gifts.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it's almost Christmas.
Oh no, it's almost Christmas. Oh no. So yeah, that's what happened there.
Yep. It happened.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.